All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We got the special today. We got the new SM9s, and I want to tell you, there is a big difference in this release. Today, I'm going to focus mostly on the 60. There's a lot going on in these wedges. In a comparative sense to SM8, they've gotten the CG higher up and more forward, so that it's actually easier to hit the ball lower, because we want to hit those lower wedges. High spin, low flight. And I want to tell you, there is a huge difference for SM9 this year. If we take a look, the big focus again is going to be on the 60. They say nothing has changed in the grind, but I have to tell you, the toe side has changed a lot, and there's more trail relief than there was in the past. We'll take an in-depth look in that, but really, if we look here, this is the big story at the top. The big thing that's going to help us flight the ball down. In my hands, I have the 5012F, the 5414F, and those will be relatively the same. Again, for flighting, fantastic. But what I really want to focus on again is the M grind. There's a slight difference. I want to say it's an improved grind. Again, the back part of this is going to be much smaller. Here, you're going to get more relief off the back side, and there's less toe relative to the heel. In the SM7, you could really feel the toe was higher. This toe here has gotten a little bit softer, and there is more relief at the back part. With that, we have that top piece where they've added weight. I don't know, it could be a couple of grams, but could be 5 or so grams, as much as that could really offset the CG. There is this piece that a lot of people don't know about. If you see the different hosel lengths, let's take a look at those hosel lengths. And with the 60, it's offset. It goes, if you look at the hosel length, as it goes to 50, there's a shorter hosel length to get the CG further down, to get the ball in the proper area, flighting and height. But as you get to the 60, we really want the longer hosel to flight the ball down. And there was a huge difference in the flighting. So let's get into some short game stuff, some chipping, and where it'll work for us. So we're going to start here at these really thin lies, or actually medium thin lies, and you can see not a ton of grass. This is going to be some of the more challenging chip shots, especially where the grind will really help a lot. We'll get into some of that more wispy, thicker grass that might be a little bit easier to hit out of, but I really want to focus on this stuff, because this is really where the wedge is going to tell you, oh man, you're really helpful. We know the M grind for Titleist is going to be out of thin bunkers. That's where we're playing here. Austin, you can see we're in the dormant phase. So we're not going to hit bunker shots, but we're really going to focus on how this wedge does through the turf here. That'll really tell you the value. I do have to say, this is really different. Again, that slight toe relief. For me, the M grind was not a match. I had a tough time finding the grinds that would work for me here with the Vokey system. And you guys know I really enjoyed the tour grind from Wilson, but this is something I do have to say, it is a really nice change, right? You can see I'm getting spin there too. That's a solid grouping. If we take a look here, Not bad. Not bad for feel there. But now I want to come into these thinner lies. The really compacted kind of ground where the grass is matted down a little bit more. And I think really this is where I'm really hoping to see what this wedge does. It was really surprising off that turf closer. Again, nicer. Again, toe dug less, which was what I always felt like the M grind lacked. It needed a little more toe relief. So let's see how this guy goes. Unedited. Yeah, so much better. So much better ground interaction. We'll take a look at the divots in a second, but a little aggressive there on the angle of attack. That one was the open face I was trying. So again, the other one would bounce through. Last year's model, would absolutely have bounced, and I wouldn't have been able to hit that. So really good there. Nice. Solid. God, this is such a different wedge from the SM9. Yeah, I couldn't hit those shots last year. I hated the old M grind. It just, again, toe dug. Now I'm going to try a little opener. Right, so that's one of the only ones that get it. Because there are going to be those times you want to hit it, right? Wedges are really important, is to recognize really what the shot will allow, what the lie will allow. But a good wedge player can obviously force things through. But let's just see. A little better. Let's try one more. Yeah. No, that's working. That's working much better. So that last one that took off low, that went low, that was Coach Paul's technique. But let's see again. Let's try and push the limits. No. Off a thin lie like that, man, I could not hit that. This is a huge improvement. And again, Titleist won't tell you that there's a difference in the grind, but I'm telling you, there is the world of a difference in the grind. And I saved these from my bay just to kind of show you guys. Here's the old and here's the new. So if you look at the old M grind, you can see how far back the swipes go, which means this part of the wedge back here at the bottom is interacting quite a bit. And if you look at the new M grind, look how that's gone away. So just all that swipiness right here is really gone. So just the way that these wedges interact with the turf, and I'll put them right next to each other, and you can see on the left side is the old M grind. You can see how dark it was at the back, and you see how much lighter it is on this one. And so the grind is totally different. What an improvement. I mean, being able to hit this low in the air, as well as being more being better off of the ground, is really fantastic. It's really what I'm looking for. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about this, especially with the grind fix. And again, I play off of really firm conditions. This is the key here. It's the conditions. Match the wedge to the conditions you play. Let's talk for a second about groove depth. On this side here, we have the M grind, and here we have the F grind, the 50. And if we kind of have the right lighting to kind of see the depth of the grooves. And if you look, this depth right here, these are more narrow. What a great angle right here. You could see the 50 has more narrow and shallower grooves. That's to help control the spin, get a little less spin on the full shot. But then on the 60 where you want that spin, look how deep they are and they're wider. This groove depth made a huge difference on how it's able to spin. It's not just a face. So I'll tell you, this is a huge improvement from what we've seen in the past from Titleist. Interesting. I don't know, it could be a different 2022 in terms of wedges and what we'll see in my bag, but you know, I like what I'm feeling so far. Let's head on over to the soft stuff. One last is to see how this guy reacts. I'm excited about this, honestly. This should be a no-brainer, pretty solid. I'm not looking for really a ton of spin out of this, because you're not going to get it with the grass and the water between the face and the ball. But that's a really nice amount of spin. I'm not getting too much, I'm not getting too little. Sometimes what happens when you get to the new wedges, you have to break them in just because the spin rates are too high to start. But this is a really playable wedge immediately. Nice. Let's give ourselves a little bit of a challenge here even. We get sometimes those thin lies in between some of those. Okay. Came at that a little steep. Let's try it again. Man, there's just some really, this is so different. This is so different than SM8. God, I love it. Now let's get really, let's challenge this guy. I'm in a thin lie in between the thick stuff. Beauty. Really nice. Really, really nice. Now let's see if I can hit a little flopper out of there. This traditionally, out of this M grind, I have not been able to hit a flopper. So, beauty. We got the flopper intact. Man. Yep. Solid. Man, let's take a look closer. Come on. I'm just, I'm really impressed. More, like I said, by the grind, how they changed it. And again, on the full shots, I mean, let's take a look at this grouping from all these shots. Obviously, I hit the one up there, but that was on me. Man, so good. Really, really good. While I'm fixing some of my divots here, you know, this system, this Vokey system started with the idea of different grinds, right? Of different grinds for different players. And again, they've developed them over the year. All the different grinds over the years. Sometimes I think some of these grinds were made in a little bit of an echo chamber. It worked for on tour with players, and I don't know if everybody uses wedges like the tour players do. Definitely, we don't play the same conditions, worse conditions, thinner conditions. So I've always been very particular about the grinds. This M grind this year is fantastic for those thin lies. Being able to flight the ball. The data went from the SM8, I was able to only hit it 74 feet high for 90 yards, but the SM9 was 47 feet, 90 yard shot. That is fantastic. So this is a huge change. Again, what we're looking for out of wedges is flighting them low with spin. The grooves on them, the wider grooves, the deeper grooves, you could really feel the face grabbing the ball there. And you saw most of my dispersion, and everything was really close to the hole. So this is just a big change, and I think Titleist did a wonderful job with this release. So kudos to them. I'm sure it'll be another good year for them. I'll come back at you the next review. We'll probably look at the TaylorMade MG3 wedges. I got some of those coming, as well as the big toe wedge. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what that plays like. Again, to me, I don't care. You could be a Titleist, a Callaway, you know, a Cobra. There's so many good golf clubs out there and so many smart people working in this industry. There's really room for everybody. My goal is to just present it to you in a way that we go in depth from a fitter's perspective, what the turf works off of, and you can really make your own choice for yourself there. But the SM9, definitely flighting lower, which is what we want in our wedges. We want low flight, high spin, the opposite of kind of a driver. So they just really did it. I hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know what you want to see in the comments below. Remember, stay focused and keep practicing.